Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 1 of The Preferred Experience. I'm Will Barrett, and as always, at the master control is Stacy Mills, the Millzer. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, sir. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon here in the preferred community of Prattville, Alabama. Memorial Day weekend on the horizon. 3-day weekend coming up. I love these 3-day weekends.
Yeah.
The summer holidays. I'm telling you, nobody does summer holidays like the city of Prattville. I mean, you got Memorial Day events, you got 4th of July events, you got Labor Day events. I mean, there's no shortage. There's no shortage of goodness that comes out of the summer here in the preferred community.
Yeah, and the Creek concerts too during the week.
Heck yeah. If you hadn't been down to the Creek concerts, you're missing a lot. They're a lot of fun, a whole lot of fun, and the bands, they might stay the same, but they always have new material.
Yeah.
You know? Hey, Millzer, before we go any further, I mean, I got to address the elephant in the room. And I'm not just talking about you. I'm talking about...
Whoa. Hey.
I'm talking about the fact that...
Wait. We haven't even got this podcast started, and the insults have already come across.
It's an expression.
It's a twofold insult. You know that. My weight and my football allegiance. You have just insulted me on 2 levels.
Listen, I used to take shots about your weight, but I'm catching up to you quickly. So that's off the table. But no, the elephant in the room is the blood that's coming out of your right eyeball. Your blood. You can't see it, folks, but his right eye is the color of a red crayon, and it looks terrible. I'm just telling you, it looks terrible. Will you please tell me what that's all about?
Oh, that is well, you know, when I mouthed off a little too loudly to Amy one night, she just reared back and just no.
Your sweet wife would never lay hands on you like that, even though she could.
Yeah, even though she needs to.
Yeah.
I need a shot. I need to be popped in the eye on occasion.
Every now and then.
No, it's from injections I have in my eyeball.
Say that again.
Injections, shots.
You get a needle. Like a shot needle?
2 needles.
In your eye?
In each eyeball once a month.
That makes my toes curl up. What? So you get shots in your eye just because you like it?
Yeah. It's kind of like a little torture thing I like to put myself through.
Millzer. Is it so? And this happens to you regularly?
Yes, I have to do it once a month.
Once a month as maintenance on your eyeball. You take a needle. How is it maintenance to the eyeball to put a needle?
I get a needle to deaden it, and then a needle to inject for the injection.
Well, thank goodness for the deadening. Oh my gosh! I mean, how do you keep your eyelid open?
There's drops to deaden it initially. Then the injection deadens the inner workings of it, and then the injection goes into the inner workings of the eyeball.
Just the thought of that is horrifying. Is a needle in the eye.
Oh, the first time I had it done, man, I was just waiting for my eyeball to explode.
I mean, that is terrible. And how long does this last?
And I'll have to do these for probably another year or so.
Wow.
And just the unfortunate side effects of diabetes.
Oh, the sugars.
The sugars got me. The sugars have got me. But it's diabetic retinopathy, and it's been a long road, and you bring up my eyeball, but you haven't seen it. This is like mild compared to what you have. When before they found the right medication, and I had an allergic reaction. And I looked like Satan. I really did look like, complete blood red eyeball Satan.
Yeah, it looked a lot like the Prince of Darkness. Yes, you look like a red devil. Yeah.
It was almost black. It was so red.
It was rough.
Yeah,
it was rough. But fortunately, they got you figured out. Now it's only blood red.
Now it's I have to give a shout out to Dr. Parma at Retina Specialist of Alabama. Great guy. But this one I had to give him a little heck on, because this is actually to explain what goes on when you get when the blood, like all that is is if the needle nicks a blood vessel, which you can do that. You've seen people get their eye bloody up when they sneeze too hard. I mean, it can happen. It just,
I throw my back out from sneezing too hard. But that comes with age.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, but Dr. Palmer was so good. He went almost a year before he and it happens. It's not something dangerous or anything like that. It's just, like I said, your eye looked bloody for about a couple of weeks and then it clears up. And this is the first time he did it, so I had to give him a heck about it. I was like, dude, you went a whole year without having to without clipping a blood vessel, and you finally did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you made it.
You made it.
What else is going on around here? Graduation last night.
Yeah, that was quite an attended event, man. Wow, that place, it was completely.
Stanley Jensen was filled up. Stadiums all over the area were filled up.
Yeah, and at 12:30, didn't anybody think it was no way possible you were going to have a graduation? No. But
thanks to artificial turf.
Thanks to artificial turf. Yeah, yeah. It was actually a funny thing. I'd heard about the DJ. I'm not certain who the DJ was. DJ Haynes that normally does it wasn't available, so they had a substitute DJ for the audio. Was concerned about the. He said he didn't want his cables in the mud, and then they were told him you do realize
there's no mud.
We're turf.
You might get some black beads.
Hey, old Stanley Jensen is battle worn and a lot of bad things with it and that have come with age. But the one good thing is this brand new turf area. You're not going to have to worry about.
Not a thing wrong with that.
You're not going to have to worry about getting too wet on the turf.
But I love the decision by our Board of Education to say we're going to have graduation in the stadium again the way it should be. Instead of having to, rain or not, if we have to move it a day, fine. But I would rather sit in a driving rainstorm for 3 hours and watch a graduation than go sit in the Joel Reed Acadome again and watch another graduation. That was horrible.
The sweat box.
Sweat box. Oh, my goodness. I'd rather get poured on than have to go in that dome again.
And you're limited by the number of people and everything. You're able to get a few more people in there at the stadium, and with such a large graduating class, it's still they still have to sell tickets and everything and limit the number of people that can come there. But it's a lot better at the stadium. Like you say, you're more flexible and everything. And of course, I don't mind it because I'm in the air conditioned press box.
That's right. That's right. And hey, people need to start getting a good look at the stadium because baby, she's changing.
Oh yes, she is.
There'll be new lights on the field this year is going to blow people away. They're going to see things in the stadium you haven't seen before. Like I didn't know that was actually that green out there.
Yeah.
You can't tell at night but hey, hats off to our Parks and Rec department and our mayor and our city council that have done all this work to get this stadium in our parks moving in the right direction. We're on the precipice of major quality of life improvements around here, and
absolutely.
We'll probably have some of those folks in here in some later episodes to talk about the things that are happening. Because folks, it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning.
And full disclosure, people, the man that is going to be behind the construction of this new stadium is on this podcast, and it's not me because I'm not an engineer.
He's a heck of a guy, though, from what I hear.
But you will get a lot of insight and a lot of inside knowledge of what's going on. You'll as always, you'll hear what everybody thinks is what's going on, but we got a guy here that's going to let us know exactly what's going on.
Well, lots of good things. Lots of really, really good things happening around here, and some of them overdue, some of them right on time, but it happens. It happens when it happens. So, anyway, what else is up? We've talked about graduation ceremonies. We talked about Memorial Day coming up. You got Memorial Day plans?
To do as little as possible. That's my usual Memorial Day.
That is a great Memorial Day plan. That is a great Memorial Day plan.
I use days off as days off. I'm not a traveler, and I don't like to go traveling on holidays and fighting everybody and everything, because that's not a holiday. That's not a vacation when you do that. So, but Yeah, we got our vacation planned at the end of this month, not the end of the end of the upcoming month in June. So,
yeah, and so go ahead.
I was just going to say we're taking John Carter to Blue Ridge, and we're going. As growing up in Booth, you can't help but be obsessed with trains because you live 30 feet from a train track. So
John Carter's 6, right?
Yeah, he's 6. Yeah, and then, so we're going to take him up there. They have a thing up in Blue Ridge where they have the Blue Ridge Expressway where you take the train up into Tennessee to a little town up there. It's a little. You got your little shops and your little trinkets, your little
very cool place.
Souvenirs, and then then they give you a train ride back through all the Blue Ridge Mountains and everything. It's really cool. We've done it before. Me and Amy have done it before. My wife Amy, so we're going to give him his first chance to go on a train trip up there, and Blue Ridge is really grown as a town. From what I heard, I mean, this has been 10 years ago we did this. Now there's all kind of, it's almost like a mini Gatlinburg from the description I've been getting from people. So we're really looking forward to go check it out. So.
Oh yeah, it is cool, and there's a drive-in theater there too. It's super great. So if you have the means and the time, go check. I think $5 for a car.
Yeah. Well, all John Carter was worried about was is there putt there?
Yes. Yes. It would be remiss without mentioning.
Yeah.
Of course, there's putt-putt at Blue Ridge. Yeah. If it's a mountain touristy place, there's going to be putt-putt.
It's going to be putt-putt. Yeah.
It's going to be putt-putt. But I think what everybody's been looking forward to, if you're an 80s kid or a 90s kid like we are, what you're looking forward to this weekend is the premiere of Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
Paramount has been showing Top Gun like on a reel for the last 3 weeks. And I've been watching it going, I got to see Maverick. I got to see Top Gun Maverick. I got to see it. It was Top Gun in '86 was such a good movie, and it's like there's some movies that you can watch once and be like, I got to watch that again, and some movies if it's ever on, you stop. Right? Yeah. Top Gun is one of those movies for me. I just love Top Gun, and Top Gun Maverick. I got to know it. I got to see it.
Yeah, got to know what happened to the guy because
I mean, it's got Goose's son in it. Yeah. And Goose's son is like an actual pilot.
What is it? The greatest thing I ever heard is somebody said they missed the boat when they didn't have Ryan Gosling playing Goose's son.
That was too much.
Wait a minute.
You can't add Gosling to that mix. It's too much firepower.
Too much firepower.
That's too much firepower.
Oh, but yeah, I'm kind of disappointed Goose's ghost is not in there. I mean,
well, maybe that's a spoiler they hadn't revealed yet.
Yeah. But Val
Kilmer is in it.
Iceman is in it. That is the key. The Iceman is in it.
And Val Kilmer got like throat cancer in 2015 and lost his voice. He said the cancer's in remission now, but he no longer can talk at all. So in the movie, he can't talk. But he's the admiral of the Pacific Fleet, right? Yeah. So he's communicating with Maverick at their little desk, and he's on like computer messages. Mm-hmm. So and then somehow his actual condition is in the movie. Yeah. His real life condition is in the movie, and then he dies in the movie. Spoiler alert,
dude! What? I did not know that. You ruined
I thought everybody knew this already.
You ruined it.
This is common.
You ruined it.
Listen, man, I'm sorry.
Do you know how bad I avoid like TikTok and all those other the reels and all that stuff. I avoid them like the plague because I do not want to get spoiled on some of these movies.
I'm the opposite because I have to know.
Every time I see one of those with Doctor Strange spoilers in it, I have to delete it. I get rid of it fast because I want to know. I want to be surprised. This day, you didn't hit me on one of my topics.
I'm sorry.
This day and age, there's no surprise anymore in movies. There's no shock. There's no. Oh my God, there's no Darth Vader is Luke's father? What? You don't have that because it's all ruined for you before you even get to the movie. Mm-hmm. And it stinks. It really does stink.
Well, it does, and I hated it at first. Now I'm like, I won't get to see this movie for a week, and it's killing me to know what happens, so I'll go and find out what happens. Even though I don't really want to know until I get there, there's a part of my curiosity that just can't not know. I have to know. and it destroys me on one side, and it relieves me on the other. Yeah. And so when I get to the theater, I'm like, this is about to happen, right? And they're like, shut up! I'm like, it's too late. It's too late. I already know, and I've told you. I'm sorry. I'm bad at spoiling movies. I apologize. And movies are my thing. I love movies. I mean, I speak in movie quotes, like 80s and 90s movie quotes, maybe 2000s even. That is that's part of my curse. I can watch a movie 1 or 2 times and be able to quote it almost start to finish. But ask me to do something later today, and I'll forget to do it.
Ask me where my keys are.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. But I can tell you exactly where Coffee Black worked. But the reason why he was late for the first game.
He was working, right?
He was working. That was in the unreleased version.
Right. Of Semi-Pro.
The
movie Semi-Pro.
that you can only get on that. You can get it on Amazon. The extended version where you actually find out why Coffee Black was late for the first game.
Unbelievable. And
it's for an honorable reason. That's what's so bad about it. You think he's a bad guy, but he was helping his mom at a restaurant. He really lost track of time.
And really, what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
You're going to go against Mama?
But see,
no.
They take and edit that out in the movie. Now he looks like a jerk coming in at the late. Oh, he's just a glory hound superstar. No, he was working hard for his mama.
He was. And you got to respect that.
Misunderstood.
Coffee Black is a very misunderstood character.
Yes. So is Downtown Funky Stuff Malone.
Absolutely. And Vacatus, just because he can't speak English. Man. Well, okay.
This is what you're in for, folks. This is
streams of consciousness.
This is the exact conversations we have on our way to just about every football game we go to.
Everywhere. And and to me, it never gets old.
Yeah.
We've been going to the same party for 14 years.
Yeah, we've been telling the same jokes to each other and laughing just as loud every time.
And in no way is that disappointing.
No, it's not.
Man. Now, okay. What else do you want to hit on today?
Well, let's see. I know a regular segment that we have talked about doing is you see them all over the internet and different social medias and everything is people's top 10 list of different crazy off subjects, and everybody has an opinion about a top 10 list,
of course,
of various top 10 lists. So what we were planning to do, during our episodes each week is we're going to our man here, Will Barrett, is going to pick out a top 10 list that he finds on the internet. Of course, we're going to give credit to where it comes from. Folks, if you do podcasts, that's what you need to do, is give credit when you pull information from somebody else.
Correct.
Because that's called stealing.
I'll just say I made it up.
Yeah. But we're doing a top 10 list, and let's go on and do one now. Tell me what this one is and where's it from, Will?
This is from Listverse, listverse.com, Listverse, listverse.com, and their weird stuff categories. These are 10 things normal in the U.S. that are strange in other places. And I've done a lot of traveling outside this country, and I can tell you this list is highly accurate. If you decide to become a world traveler, you'll quickly surmise that despite having the same needs and many wants, people have developed different ways of satisfying those desires. So here are 10 things that are very different from living in the USA. Number 10 is pharmaceutical advertising. You see pharmaceutical ads everywhere you go, on every billboard, every commercial, like for Chantix, like to learn how to quit smoking. But the risks are, you know, possible cancer, suicidal tendencies, loose stools.
Your brain will jump out of your brain.
Your brain will leak out of your ear, but you won't want to smoke. So, that does not exist in other countries. They don't do it. And really, what would be the point in doing it in this country? I mean, I've never seen a drug ad, pharmacy ad, and go, I'm going to ask my doctor about Xarelto, whatever that stuff is.
Well, look, I can say... Now, I can't say that that's entirely true because, we touched on it earlier with my diabetes. There's a couple of medicines that I've asked my doctor about because I saw an ad on them. So they've wrote me.
So you've actually done it.
They've actually wrote me in.
You're hooked.
I heard the symptoms and go, you know what? I could tough that out.
The only drug I've ever seen that I thought, I'm going to try that was Advil. When Nolan Ryan was advertising it. Remember back in the day?
Yeah.
He says, I take Advil over Tylenol because it's gentler on my stomach than aspirin. Nolan Ryan. If the Express says it's good, I'm going to try it.
Hey, there's no other reason to try Goody's headache powder than when Richard Petty convinced you to try Goody's.
Richard Petty got me on Goodies. That's exactly right.
Because who in their right mind would take a headache powder?
No. Old 43 is going to take it.
Who wants to eat chalk?
It's horrible. The headache powder's terrible. If you don't get it all the way in the back of your throat immediately, forget it. Forget it. You're gonna not just have a headache. You're about to throw up too. Good stuff. That number 9, garbage disposals. You really don't see garbage disposals in other countries, just here. And I love my garbage disposal. In fact, we've put so much stuff down there, I've had to replace it. But here's what they say though: the stuff you put down, like food that goes down to water, that goes down to disposal, and it goes to the treatment plants for processing, is 3 times more harmful for the environment than just taking it to a landfill. But let's be honest. Some of the stuff you put down at disposal, you put it down there because it's going to stink if you leave it in the trash can, right?
Yes.
It's going to be horrible. But other countries have caught on to this, and there are places even in New York City now that are having an internal battle of whether or not to permit garbage disposals built in new house construction. It might come off the market sometime.
Well, I heard in France they just throw it out the window anyway.
That's what they do.
just throw it out the window.
Yeah, they did a lot. They threw a lot of stuff out the windows up until just recently. That's how the plague got introduced,
yes,
I think.
Exactly. and therefore, garbage disposals save lives.
Yes. Number 8 is shady product price labels. We all know that when we go to check out at supermarkets or grocery stores, the price is going to be higher than the price we calculated along our journey. Why? Taxes, right? We know that tax is coming and sometimes even additional surprise charges, and we just don't want to do the math. But in other countries, like in the European Union, the price you see on the list on the item is the price. Why can't we just do that? I mean, we know what the tax is. The guys at the grocery store and the shops know what the tax is. Put it on the label. I mean, it's one thing to trick us. I mean, because we should be able to do the math. But you got like 10-year-olds with some allowance they want to spend. They go to the candy shop and, hey, I want to buy this bag of Red Hots. It says $2.95. I got $3, and they go up to the cash register and it's $3.18 or $3.20. That's messed up.
Yeah.
That's messed up. I don't like that because I've been taken advantage many times by the tax man that way.
Yeah, and why is everything 99?
What's with the 99?
I know you want to make it seem like it's $1 less than what it is, but all it is a penny less.
It's a penny less, and I don't get it either.
It's
and at gas stations,
it's all psychological warfare being waged upon the consumer,
and it's working.
It works.
It's worked for so long. If it didn't work, they wouldn't keep doing it.
Hey, garbage disposals.
Garbage disposals for all these people, Jackie. Number 7, and this is a good one. Supersized food portions. How many times you've asked for the larger size at a drive-thru or the counter, especially at fast food restaurants?
I can honestly say I'm a recovering addict of supersizing.
But it's probably happened at least once.
Which leads to shots in the eyeball.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. A large fry, shot in the eye. Just remember, kids. According to many Europeans, it's a weird part of our culture in the U.S. they just can't understand. Portion sizes for all meals in other countries are typically much smaller than our regularly sized meals. So supersizing anything seems pretty crazy. It makes sense that obesity is on the rise with massive meal sizes. If freedom means doing anything you want, you have to accept the consequences that come with it. And you know what? I'm willing to accept those consequences, to freedom to get the extra size, the bigger size if we want it. I think we've fought for that. We want to get the bigger size, get the bigger size.
Hey, I'm paying the price for my gluttony.
But you are recovering.
I'm recovering.
There's half of you than what there was 10 years ago. I mean, half really. So hats off, whatever you're doing. I think you lost about 40 pounds at one point. I noticed you lost it quick. And I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "You said stress is a great diet plan."
and it is. It's very much so. Very much so.
Okay, number 6. And I don't understand this one. How are you as a hello greeting? How are you is a very common replacement for hello, right? Mm. Hey, how are you? We don't say how are you? What's up? How you doing? That kind of thing. That's even more odd. How are you doing? Mm. When you think about that, how are you doing? Doing what? No, how are you doing? People that don't understand Southern vernacular would really struggle with how are you doing? Just like we didn't finish the sentence.
How about this one? I had an old beatnik that I worked with at the Federal Highway Administration when I was doing a junior fellowship with them when I was going to college. Old beatnik worked the mailroom. He loved to say, "What's the haps?"
What's the haps? I don't know. What is the haps?
What is the haps?
Please define the haps.
Is there a cure for the haps?
Like Steve Martin the Jerk. If you find it, if you catch it, get rid of it. See a doctor, get rid of it. The haps. You don't want it. At number 5, free drink refills. And this is something that really gets on my wife's nerves. Jennifer cannot handle this because she'll order a tea, like an iced tea. That glass stays full in America wherever you go, right? Especially if you're at a Mexican restaurant. They're the best at tea refills. I mean, unbelievably good. But in foreign countries, in other countries, even in developed countries like England, free drink refills are not a practice. They are not a practice. And really, another practice they don't honor that we do is ice in your drink. You don't get ice. You have to ask for ice, and they look at you like you're crazy when you ask for it. What's hard to understand about that? We'd like a drink cold. But they'll bring it out in a can or a bottle, but not a glass of ice with a beverage in it. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it. We're the only people that know how to do this. That's what makes America great. One of the things that make America great is free drink refills.
Absolutely. Now that is something I am not recovering from. I'm a full-fledged addict on drink refills.
And I don't think that's a problem.
No,
I don't consider that a poor addiction. That's a good addiction.
Yeah.
You stay hydrated. At number 4, and this is something you don't think about. Red Solo cups. Red Solo cups exist only here. Why is that? Mm-hmm. Everybody knows why you got a red Solo cup, right?
Yeah, the country music song.
The country music song. You're concealing what you're drinking. You're kind of covering that up a little bit. And they say that probably the reason red Solo cups don't exist in other countries is because the drinking laws are much less restrictive in other countries. So nobody cares. Number 3. Ready for number 3?
Yeah.
Tipping. Tipping your waiter, tipping your wait staff. It's like it does not happen in other countries. It only happens here.
Well, what are their wages though?
I guess that's what it is.
That's the makeup of it. They probably pay them legitimate wages and relative to whatever their legitimate wages are. So
yeah, in Europe they include the service fee into the price of the meal, so your tip is included in the meal, like what we would call a tip. It's part of their fee. And in Japan and South Korea, tips are viewed as insults. They're insulted when you try to tip them. So when they visit the U.S., the expectation of a tip can be an expensive surprise. They don't get it. I've never been insulted by somebody handing me money.
No, never.
I guess that's why I'm not Asian. That's not the only reason why. There's many reasons why. My parents were from the mountains of Caucasus, so I am no longer Asian. Never going to be Asian, but I would not be insulted by somebody handing me a few bills. Just for everybody's knowledge, if you hand me money, I will not be insulted.
Which they take tip at the Tokyos, though.
They do. They're Americanized.
They're Americanized.
Number 2 is to-go coffee. To-go coffee. What will we do without to-go coffees when we're rushing to work or having an afternoon break? And we've got restaurants here that all they do is to-go coffee, like Eliano's, and they're backed up around the corner all the time. It's very good coffee at Eliano's, by the way. They don't sponsor us yet, but Eliano's, fantastic. Fantastic right there in downtown, the beginning of downtown Prattville.
As I approach my 51st birthday here in October, I can honestly say I have never drank a cup of coffee in 51 years of existence.
Never.
A cappuccino, yes. I tried a cappuccino once.
Is that coffee?
That's not really coffee. That's just that's a chocolate sundae pretending to be coffee. But I have never had a cup of coffee.
They say the reason why to-go coffees don't exist in other countries as much is because they're not in as much a rush as we are. They like to sit, take their time.
Oh, I can believe that. I can believe that.
So anyway, there's that. And then number 1, and this is a pet peeve of mine that we have here that I don't really understand, that I appreciate the way other countries do this. Number one thing that's common in the U.S., but not common in other countries, is having huge gaps underneath stalls in public bathrooms. Why is there a 18-inch gap from the floor to the bottom of the stall in a U.S. bathroom? Why is that?
I think I have an answer.
Okay.
And I call this the Smokey and the Bandit theory. They were put in place that way so smaller people could sneak under the stall, like he had frogs sneak in, and so she wouldn't have to pay the dime back when you had to pay to use a toilet at a gas station. So that way, if there's enough space there, you don't have to pay that fee. You can slide on under.
You would slide your body across a public bathroom floor in the stall.
Hey, in the 70s to save a dime, yes.
Ugh. But you're gonna pay more than that dime with the antibiotics. You're gonna need to get rid of the bacteria you just picked up. It's festering in your body now.
As we said, like we said earlier, there's always consequences to your actions.
There is.
There's a risk reward there. There's definitely a risk reward.
Everybody makes choices.
Yeah.
But seriously, how much more could it cost to go 18 more inches on that stall bottom? Like, go all the way to the floor. If the door's closed, you're not going in.
Well, considering 90% of all bathroom stall door locks do not work, you have that option of you see feet, you move to the next one.
That's true.
And you won't be able to see feet without that extra space underneath.
Don't you hate when you're in there and you sit down and you notice, like, hey, there's like a half-inch gap going all the way up the side, but I can see everybody out there.
Yeah.
And that means they can see me too. That's so weird, right?
Yeah.
It's like, because you're kind of like off to the side a little bit, like, I wonder who's looking. Nobody's looking.
Yeah.
Don't be weird. Don't be gross. But there is that little gap that doesn't go all the way in. It's weird.
Oh, I know.
Can we not get a better fitting toilet stall? That's my question to the public bathroom industry. Can we not get a better fitting toilet stall?
My biggest thing about bathrooms, what they need to come up with, and the technology is available now, because you got you don't have to flush them no more. They flush themselves. Well, now that you have that technology, you would be able to detect when somebody's on the throne and just randomly flush every 60 to 90 seconds. Just for the simple fact of there are a lot of people out there that do not believe in courtesy flushes.
No. And the courtesy flush is clutch. I've had to introduce many people to the courtesy flush. How do people not know about the courtesy flush? It drives me crazy. When you sit down to do your business, okay, when it's not a number one, it's a number two, and it's a good one too, right? You sit down, you do what you got to do. As soon as solids meet the water, hit the flusher.
Yes.
Hit the flusher. You might get a little splash on your booty, but so what? It's a courtesy you do for your neighbors, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I'd do a courtesy flush in my own house.
Because I offend myself.
Because I'm offended by my own self. See, exactly. Courtesy flush is so critical. If you don't know how to do it, ask somebody. Somebody will show you how. It's not that bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. With the technology that they have now, they should be able to have a detector while you're sitting on the throne, just to say about every 60 to 90 seconds, hit the flush.
Hit it. And now they came up with this product.
Well, that way the people don't have a choice. They have to do a courtesy flush.
There's a product a few years back that came out called Poopery. You remember this? A can of that stuff made it into my house recently, and I gave it a test run. It doesn't. It's not very effective. I can say it's not very effective.
I know it wasn't effective. You know how I know it wasn't effective? Because it is about every 10 to 12 days, the deal of the day on Med.com is Poopery. and everything on to Med.com usually is a failure of a product.
It is, yeah, typically. But the courtesy flush is foolproof. It's foolproof. It never fails. It's gone. It's out of there. It's no longer offending the room and the people next to you. So I'm off my soapbox about courtesy flushes.
Episode 1, folks. Poop talk.
Potty humor. Yeah. I didn't think we'd go there that quickly.
Yeah. Well, you're the one that picked out the top 10. And you can't tell me you didn't set that up for that, knowing that finale, the number one, was going to be right up your alley.
I guess right down my alley.
right down the poop pipe.
But seriously, I mean, courtesy flush. Yeah. Courtesy flush should be a common practice among all Americans. I don't care if you're 4 or 94. The courtesy flush is where it's at. And what is with people that come into bathrooms and public restrooms particularly and choose to put half a roll of toilet paper in the toilet? Like, what are you doing? And then you make this horrible mess. I feel so sorry for people that come by here and they see that and you see it. You see it, you go to the next stall. Somebody's got to get that.
There is a reason why our public bathroom right out here in our the reception area going into our studio, there's a reason why it's no longer a public bathroom, and there's a sign on there that says private bathroom, and it's locked at all times. Because I came back from lunch one day and lost my lunch.
Yeah.
And we will leave it at that.
That had happened.
Somebody had randomly wandered in there and courtesy flushed all over the bathroom.
And created a crime scene. Yeah. Horrible. Just horrible. But normally, if you do a courtesy flush, you avoid all that kind of stuff. You don't get any backups because you're not taking everything at once. Anyway, so there's that.
All right.
Enough.
Okay. Episode 1 was about the crapper. We're getting off to a rip-roaring start here, folks.
You did it again. There's so many puns with that. Yeah. So many plays on words with that. All right. Well, it's been fun. I think the first episode has been a lot of fun.
Yep. But before we go, we got our regular segment. We got to introduce it as the poet laureate himself of the preferred.
It's time for
preferred experience.
It's time for our poet laureate himself, who's making his way into the studio right now. Poetic Justice with Chip Powell, a segment we're going to have every week, where Chip Powell will air his most beautiful lines of prose and poetry for the longing ears of the preferred community. Here it comes. Poetic Justice with Chip Powell.
Welcome to this week's episode of Poetic Justice with Chip Powell. I'm Chip Powell, the solo host. If you're just tuning in and you're going, what in the world are we listening to? A lot of people don't, I understand, listen, a lot of people don't understand my love for poetry. When I was at Auburn, Coach Dye encouraged me to go to English lit class and not come to practice anymore. And when I showed up at practice, he was disappointed that I was not chasing that dream instead of the football dream. And anyway, but he didn't get his wish. But I do have a love for poetry, and this week's episode comes from a 20th century poet name of Robert Frost. A lot of people don't know that Robert Frost was born in San Francisco, 1874. Died in 1963, right before I was born, in Boston. Studied in Harvard. The guy was amazing. He had some amazing poems. The one we're going to talk about today, though, is The Road Not Taken. I'm going to break down these, maybe verse by verse, maybe paragraph by paragraph. It's a pretty short poem, but man, does it get to you right here. So hold on to it. Let's kind of delve into it here. Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. A lot of people think that Jimmy Rain named his company after this poem, Yellow Wood. I'm not sure, but Jimmy Rain, heck of a trustee for the Auburn Tigers here. Let me start over. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, and leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubt if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Okay, let me break it down for you. A lot of y'all, they're not used to poetry, don't have a clue what I just recited there, including Millzer and Will. They ain't got a clue about this poem, what it means. The theme of it, that it's impossible to see where you have a life-altering decision and where that will lead to. Millzer and Will, when y'all come on, I want you to talk about the decision y'all made that altered your life in a good way or bad way. Thus, you should always make your decisions swiftly and with confidence. It's normal to wonder what the outcome would have been if the road that not taken was the road chosen. So imagine Will Barrett if he stayed on that drunken path loaded with opioids, alcohol, drugs, wine, women, song. But there was an incident that changed Will. And that's what's so beautiful about Robert Frost's poem here and The Road Not Taken. Think back and think about the time that got you where you are today, and thank the good Lord above that you are here today. And man, this is tough. It's tough to talk about, man. I mean, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost is beautiful, man. Thank you.
I'm going to love this poetic justice moment with Chip Powell each week. But it does come to mention after hearing that quite often he's going to need to be fact checked. I, Will Barrett, do not have an opioid addiction, never have, or a drinking problem, or a womanizing problem. But I appreciate Chip allowing us to clean that up for him.
Yeah.
Very classy guy.
Yeah. That crossing point in life, it was a good topic. I mean,
oh yeah, it's a beautiful poem.
Yeah.
Beautiful poem. But
the way I came into this crazy world of radio was Chip Powell goes, "Hey son, you want to do some sideline work for us?" And I can't do the Chip Powell imitation.
Next thing you know, he hands you the gear.
Yeah. Next thing you know, he's like, "Stacy, I don't know how to run this here. You figure it out."
Yeah. Well, I appreciate Chip for his poetic justice moment. I do not appreciate the lies and false allegations, but that's a story for another day. I'll take it out on him next time I see him.
Well, I mean, anybody that would take factual information from Chip Powell, it's a crapshoot to start with when you do that. So, and we'll have Chip on here one day, and he will have to answer for his crimes.
Yes, we may even bring up the old Brentwood game on him, but that's a story for another day.
That's a story for another day.
Well, what's not a story for another day is how we wrap the show up each week on the Preferred Experience, the Motivational Minute with Coach Donny Burnett. Now, this is going to be something that you see at the end of each podcast that we do. We want something to take you out of this thing fired up, ready for the week, and there is no other person that I can think of in this whole county, nay, the state, that can motivate people the way Prattville Junior High Athletic Director and Head Coach Donny Burnett can do. So, wouldn't you agree, Stacy?
Oh, absolutely.
So, without further ado, we're going to turn it over to the old ball coach right now. Take it away.
Guys, it's really an honor to be here today and to kick off this inaugural podcast. So, today's quote is something for you guys. I have it's been one of my favorites for quite a while. And it's from one of my favorite authors, Dr. Seuss.
I love that guy. Not a real doctor, but I love it.
Yeah, well, I'm probably not a real quote guy either, but hey, I get a lot of it.
You are.
So here we go. This is one of my favorites. I've probably used this one a bunch here lately, and so this one is for you guys because of your inaugural podcast today. It's called "Oh, the Places You'll Go" by Dr. Seuss. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the ones who will decide where to go. This is Coach Donny Burnett and your Motivational Minute.
Anytime you bring up Theodore Seuss Geisel, it's a good day.
The good doctor.
The good doctor. Thanks, Coach.
Thank y'all.
I feel great.
Yeah, I'm ready to attack the week now.
I'm ready to get after it, son.
You decide where this thing is going.
Well, as long as we got you putting the tail on the donkey each week, it's going to be okay.
Because right now, I probably got more questions than Johnny Depp's lawyer about what's going to happen here.
3 years when we look back at this episode and we hear that, we're going to, what does he mean? What? But pop culture, current culture, love it. Coach, thank you. Appreciate it. Well, that's all the time we've got on the Preferred Experience today. Thanks for listening in. Tune in for the next episode, and then make sure you subscribe on all platforms. This is Will Barrett and the Millzer, the Preferred Experience, and we'll see you next time.
All right, that's going to do it for this week. Man, Will, love you coming in, pinch hitting, and dude, you hit a grand slam tonight.
Well, expect nothing less from me, Daryl. I'm the best.